Hey, hi there, my lovelies. Long time no speak. Um, Hope everyone's fine and well and fit and healthy. I thought I'd jump on to talk about the current situation at the moment. I have been a bit conflicted whether I should jump on or not. Don't worry, it's not that I'm one of these kind of anti-royalists, but then again, I'm not a fully paid up royalist. I'm kind of in the middle, really. But there's just a few things that I just thought I've noticed, heard, seen, and they're just a bit kind of niggly and a bit kind of. I just wanted to kind of say how I felt. It goes without saying that it is quite a sad event. You know, someone's some people have lost their mother, some people have lost their grandmother. Um, that kind of So it is a situation that kind of we knew was going to happen eventually, um, and it has happened. Um, I've got to be honest and say that I'm getting a little bit um, pissed off with BBC's coverage because it is just fucking relentless. It is just non-stop, no let up, in your face, forced on you. Um, on the actual day itself, BBC One and BBC Two were showing exactly the same thing, but literally 24/7. And ITV were doing the same, Channel 4 were doing the same, Channel 5 were doing the same. Um, there were key bits of information that, everyone was kind of wanting to know. What was the day of the funeral going to be? When was the body going to come down? Where was she going to lay in state? How are you going to get there? People that are kind of into this whole mourning of her passing away, and I can understand that these need to be reported, but it's the bollocks that goes with it that just infuriates me. I'll kind of stop calling BBC. Mourn Hub is what I'm calling it. It is just fucking relentless. They don't let up. And when there's nothing to talk about, which invariably there has been, they just drag out these people from nowhere that are all of a sudden royal experts. They've sat in a room with 1,000 people and had tea in the same room where she was once, or they're her second cousin 80 times removed. Just fucking hangers on. They're the people that I get pissed off when it comes to the monarchy, the hangers on, the ones that trade on the fact that they're kind of loosely related. And they trot them out and they talk like they were best mates and they talk like they were around there all the time for dinner and, they were always with each other. And they fucking weren't. They're just their little 15 minutes of fame to talk bollocks. And it's just becoming too much. I know people want to have a period of mourning, and that's fine. But I think the majority would kind of mourn the day that she passed and then mourn on the funeral. And in between, life's got to go on. I think if you could ask her now, what would she want us to do? And say things like, would you want us to cancel all these events? Even more so when they cancelled horse racing, with her being such a lover of horse racing. If you said to her, when you pass away, Your Majesty, shall we cancel all horse racing? I can guarantee her answer would have been a flat no, along with everything else that was cancelled. But it's this they. They have decided this. They have decided that. It has been decided. Who? Who are these people that make these decisions? Because it's not the royal family. The royal family are told by whoever these people are. So that's who I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with the royals as a family. I have a problem with the bollocks that goes on around it. And they advising that you can't do this and you can't do that and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And then everyone else kind of gets sucked into it and everyone else starts making stupid decisions. The thing that I saw in the press a few days ago was the fact that Center Parcs have made a decision to close all their parks on the day of the funeral. And their original decision was, if you were staying on holiday on the Monday there, you've got to leave. You've got to go and you can't come back. That's your holiday finished. So if you were just into your holiday, you got there on a Saturday, you've got to leave on the Monday. No refunds, no nothing. You just got to go. And there was such an uproar to it that they've revised their decision. And now what they said is, if you're already there on the Monday, you can stay, but nothing's going to be open, so you've got to stay in your accommodation. If Monday was your day for arrival, tough luck, you're not coming. And I just think it's things like that that are unreasonable requests, like telling people if a funeral for someone was on the Monday, you can't have it. The National Funeral Association have told all undertakers across the country you're not to have any other funerals on Monday. That's unreasonable, because some of these people might have planned this already. There might be relatives coming from here, there, and everywhere. You can't just say, we'll just do it on another day. It's not as simple as that. You can't just, we'll do it tomorrow, because Tuesday there are funerals already booked. So when do you find the time to do it? So it's unreasonable requests like that come from whoever that piss me off. That's what I get wound up about. I get wound up with the press. They can't just leave things alone. They can't let people mourn. They can't let the royal family mourn. They've got to be in their face with a camera. They've got to follow their cars everywhere. Following Charles' car wherever he goes. Why? Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to follow his journey to get to somewhere? Film him once he gets there. Great. If he's meeting the crowds, film that. Don't have a fucking helicopter flying over. Following. It's fucking intrusive and it's disrespectful. It's telling us as a country that we've got to do all these things to be respectful, and the most disrespectful people are the press, because they won't give them any privacy. They won't let them have time away from it. They've got to follow them everywhere they fucking go. I'm not knocking anyone that's a royalist. If you choose to watch 24/7 coverage on the TV, absolutely fine. All I'm saying is not all of us feel that way. I am one of these people, no matter if it was even if it was a relative that had passed away, I'm not a funeral person. I go to them out of respect for the person that's passed away, but no one really likes them. Some people do, like a wedding or it's a good funeral. I'm not one of those people that's into it. So if I'm not one of these people that would be, if I had the choice to not go to a funeral, I wouldn't. I've got even less desire to watch a funeral of someone that I'm not related to and I don't really relate to. I think that's what a lot of problem is. I don't think people dislike the royal family. I think they dislike the bollocks that goes with it, the decisions that are made and the way they're told to live their lives. It makes them come across completely wrong. And I'm hoping that somewhere down the line, when William takes to the throne, that he kind of changes all that and kind of says, well, no, I'm going to be my own person. I'm going to speak up and decide what I want to do for certain things. I don't want to get dragged into the whole Harry and Meghan thing, because I don't really care, to be truthful. But I do think it's a bit of a piss poor that the press still want to have a go at Harry with all this going on. Because regardless of what he's done and regardless what you think of his wife, that was his grandmother and he was still close to her despite whatever else has happened. He was still close to her. Being told he can't wear certain things at the funeral, he can't wear his military uniform at the funeral. Again, it's they've said he can't, but Edward can wear a uniform and he's never served in the military at all. He spent 4 months in the fucking Marines and quit because it was too hard. Andrew, we won't get into the whole Andrew thing, but everyone is aware of his situation and what's ongoing and that he's been shielded from. He's allowed to wear a uniform with all what he's had going on. Edward's allowed to wear a uniform and he's never served in the military. Harry has served in the military. The only reason why he was pulled out from what he was doing is because our dickhead press decided to print the fact that he was serving in the Gulf War. And it compromised his security, it compromised his family's security, so they had to pull him out of serving. If they hadn't said anything, he probably would have served to the end. But he's not allowed to wear his military uniform. By they again, this mysterious they have said that he can't wear it. And the fucking thing is, I've looked at this uniform that Edward's going to wear, and he's got like 6 medals on his chest. 6 medals for fucking what? What has he done? What has he done to earn them medals? That's the farce of it all. He's wearing a uniform that he's really got no business wearing, and medals that he's not fucking earned for anything, as in serving his country. And it's that I get frustrated with the royal family. I don't dislike them as people. I just dislike the bollocks that goes around it. So I'm kind of 50-50 on whether I'm going to watch the funeral or not. I haven't made my mind up yet. I think the BBC, as usual, have gone completely overboard. I say a lot of time they're trying to fill empty air where they've got nothing to talk about, so they just talk utter gibberish, and you just sit there going, "What is this bollocks they're talking about now?" But people, I suppose, there must be a demand for it, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But it's just not my thing. I'm just not. It's not that I don't care. It's that I've got other things on my mind, and we all have. Once this all ends on Monday, when we're back to normal Tuesday, all the shit that was going on beforehand, all the thing about how we're going to pay for this, how we're going to pay for that, everything going up in price, energy companies literally fucking us here, there, and everywhere. That's all going to come back. The government at the moment, I would say, are quite happy that everyone's mind has been distracted kind of over there to do with the funeral and forgetting about all the fuck ups that they've done. They're quite happy. I would go as far to say they're probably looking at it. It's a good time to hide bad news underneath all this that's going on. As I say, going and viewing the coffin, if people want to go and do that, absolutely fine. I've got no problem with it. I personally wouldn't stand there for 30 hours queuing up in a 10-mile queue just to shuffle past and look at a coffin and walk straight out again. It's just not me. I wouldn't do it. But I'm not knocking the people that do. What I am knocking is that people aren't allowed to have an opinion unless it's an opinion people want them to have. So dickheads can turn up outside Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament and spray it with white paint because of environmental issues. And they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do mindless vandalism to historical buildings. But someone isn't allowed to stand there and say that they don't agree with the monarchy and hold up a sign saying he's not my king. That's not allowed. He gets arrested. So why aren't these twats that vandalised the House of Commons and Big Ben been arrested for doing what they're doing? No. When you get these dickheads that turn up at restaurants, these vegans turn up at restaurants, throwing bags of blood at the window and stuff like that and terrorising people that are trying to just have a meal. Nope, they're not arrested. These idiots that fucking stick the environmentalists that kind of glue their hands to the tarmac on motorways, they're not arrested for what they do. However, some guy holds up a placard that says he's not my king, he's arrested. Someone shouts out they're not happy about the situation with Prince Andrew, they're arrested. It's not right. We do have a freedom of speech to a limit. My take is there are plenty of things in life that I don't agree with and I don't like. An example would say, if there's a certain football team I don't like them. I wouldn't then turn up to one of their games to shout out at the fact that I don't like them. So it's the same with these idiots turning up. They don't agree with the monarchy, so let's turn up at a parade to commemorate the Queen and shout out you don't like it. Why? Why do it then? Do it another way. It's not really. It's all right to have an opinion, but the time that you do it might be a bit insensitive. But to arrest people, but then other things are allowed to carry on. You know, people are allowed to do all sorts of protesting all the way through. If you remember the COVID protests, when people were smashing up buildings and stuff like that to protest against being put under lockdown rules, not many people arrested for it. However, this one guy holds up a placard and he's pulled off by the police, yanked out of the crowd, arrested. So I agree with freedom of speech to a degree. I don't think you should be allowed to say anything where you like, when you like, because there are times and places where you don't. And there's times and places where it's inappropriate. And I think that was kind of inappropriate, but he was allowed to have his opinion. He's not a monarchist. And I think a lot of people aren't. Most people I talk to are just going on about their business as normal. They're all the ones that are kind of invested and they've got to sit there and watch every single bulletin and then they're not going about their business. But what we've got to think of, times have changed. Maybe when the last monarch died, times were a lot different. And then when the monarch died before that, times were a lot different. And you did have a period of mourning and people did kind of pull their curtains and everyone wore black all the time. But we've moved on from that. We don't do that now. As much as the BBC are pushing this mourn, as I say, mourn hub, as they're now called, I'm not going to be forced into doing something I don't want to do. I'll mourn in my own way. I'll be respectful in my own way. How I see fit, not how I've been told to be. And that's the problem at the moment. People are thinking we've got to behave this way because we're being told to. No, you don't. You can be just as respectful, carrying on doing your normal day-to-day things, and just kind of keep it in your head that you respect what she's done. You don't have to kind of put your life on hold for 10 days and feel guilty for doing things that you need to do, things you've got to do in your life. Most of us are still going to work. But then you've got the radio stations, and you try and turn on the radio, and it's non-stop, what I would call funeral music, stuff that people play at their funerals all day long. And they keep saying, "Oh, we're not doing our normal programming today." Why? Why can't we have the normal programming? You can still have your news bulletins, you can still kind of talk in between, but just keep everything going along. I honestly do not believe that Her Majesty the Queen would have said, when I pass away, everyone's got to stop what they're doing. We've just had 2 years of absolute shit, of being stuck indoors and not being able to go anywhere, and the horrible things. We've got a couple of years of shit ahead of us with all this cost of living crisis. I don't think the Queen would have turned around and said, "You know what, I think we need a bit more misery." I think she would have went, "No, life's got to carry on." Because that was the way that she was. Things carry on. Obviously, her last few days, she must have been really, really poorly, but she still did what she felt she had to do. She still met the new Prime Minister, who unbelievably makes some speech outside Number 10 about how sad she is about it. But then if you dig hard enough, or look, not even hard enough, if you just go into Google and look at what her views of the monarchy are, she's given an interview a few years back saying she completely disagrees with it. She thinks it's disgusting and it's immoral and it's wrong that we have a monarchy. But then she's trotting out and saying how sad she is and what a great job she's done. And it's like, well, here we go again. We've got politicians lying to us, politicians kind of hiding from what they really believe and what they don't stay true to how they believe. So I was very, very conflicted about whether to do a video, because I didn't want to come across as being disrespectful, but I want to be respectful in my way. I don't want to be told what to do. I'll do it my way, on my terms. And it might not be how everyone does it, but everyone's different. We can't all be told, "You've got to do this." And unfortunately, the BBC are trying to push that agenda that really we should all be wearing black and we shouldn't be going out and we should be sitting in glued to their 24/7 coverage. But I'm not going to do it. I just can't. It's just not me. Anyway, nothing else really more to say. I just felt I had to say it. Hopefully I haven't come across as being disrespectful. If I have, apologies. But I don't apologise for how I feel. I just apologise if I might have offended someone. But then again, as Ricky Gervais says, just because one person finds something offensive doesn't mean it is. They're just words. So anyway, everyone stay safe, fit and healthy. Do what you need to do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to judge anyone. And I will pop on here soon, probably after everything's kind of been finished after Monday, and jump on and just kind of try and do a bit more ranting. But I just thought I had to say something today. So without wasting any more of your precious time, your spare time, whatever you're choosing to do with it, take care and peace out, my lovelies.